Hello, welcome to Spotlight in Education. I'm Joanne Magistro, Superintendent of the East Brunswick Public Schools. And today you'll get an inside look at technology and how it is used to enhance teaching and learning in our schools. Well over a decade, the district has been following a strategically designed technology plan. We were one of the first school districts in the state to form a technology committee, designed a plan, and began training staff and students to meet specific standards dealing with technology. Our plan is consistently evaluated and updated to ensure that all of our students understand and are comfortable with both the concepts and application of technology. This will assist our students to not only function in today's complex society, but also to become informed and productive adults of tomorrow. Research has found that students form negative attitudes about the technological world if there are no formal technological experiences during their early school years. Early studies with design and technology curriculum indicate that students who learn important technological concepts develop positive attitudes about technology, math, science, and learning in general. For these reasons, an introduction to technology education, including engineering and technological design, is an essential component of a thorough and efficient K-12 education. With me today are Steve Decker, who is the principal of Chittick School, Debbie Krauss, who is the media specialist at Chittick, and Alison Bell, who is a fifth grade teacher at Chittick. Technology certainly has evolved in our society and certainly in our school district. Let's begin by talking about how it has evolved here for us in East Brunswick.
Well, in the technology, as it has evolved and changed over the years, so has our use in the schools changed and evolved with it. In the beginning, we were setting up plans where specific time periods and specific amount of time was allotted to strictly technology, kind of isolated, not involved in the classrooms as much. Over the years, as the use has evolved, we've integrated. It's become an integral part of the instruction and the subject areas. In the beginning, media specialists introduced the skills, and then they had the classroom teachers follow up. But now the classroom teachers own the technology. They're using it more. They're even bringing pieces to the media specialists, and a partnership is being developed. And the other wonderful thing is, in the beginning, step by step, we had to introduce it to the students. Many of them didn't have any knowledge of computers, programs, applications, but now they're bringing us some of their ideas from home. They're bringing us shortcuts, they're bringing us websites, and so now the teachers are becoming partners with the students.
Dr. Magistro, I'll tell you a funny story. When I started in East Brunswick, working here as the vice principal at Churchill, I came in, and I was a former student, as you know, and I was able to see the real transformation of technology within schools. When I went to the room that used to house all the typewriters, they were all computers. So I was able to really see the change in education firsthand as a student and also as an employee and an administrator in the town. And I was amazed at what the kids were doing at Churchill with the computers and how technology has advanced so far in public education. And I was very proud to come into East Brunswick and see how in the forefront East Brunswick School District is and remains to be with regard to technology.
And I know as a teacher, we're given so much opportunity to use it. You know, when I first started, we may have only had one computer in the classroom. Now we have the television and 2 computers in the classroom, and we have use of the laptops and a very large computer lab to use. So there's just so much for teachers to use with their students. It's a great opportunity.
And I must say, as far as East Brunswick goes, we're very, very fortunate, and sometimes we don't realize how fortunate. When I talk to teachers, educators in other districts, they're amazed at the wealth of resources, the many computers that are in the classrooms, as well as that we have computer labs available to our students on the frequency that it is.
Yes, and the internet hookup. I remember I took some courses at the New Jersey Principal Supervisors Department, and the other administrators from other towns were amazed at what East Brunswick had. And they were just in the beginning process of establishing internet connections. And East Brunswick was working with a T1 connection, I believe. And I mean, the ability to use that connection for kids and access the internet and the information is just incredible. So many people were jealous of East Brunswick that I ran into at these workshops.
One of the things that certainly brings to mind with the growth of technology, we've had to have an ongoing, sustained staff development program for our teachers and our staff. Steve, share with us how you support your staff in their efforts, and maybe you can all kind of share with our community the experiences that you have had and what kind of training that you've developed in terms of technology.
Okay. Well, as you know, Dr. Magistro, one of the main components of technology for any school district is budgeting. But East Brunswick was able to tie budgeting aspects in with instructional aspects. For an example, the Middlesex County Board of Freeholders, as you know, created a program, Tech 2000, where teachers, if they received 20 hours of instructional time, they would receive a free computer. Over the span of that program, East Brunswick really took initiative in having teachers participate in it. So much so that East Brunswick was allotted the maximum amount of computers, which was 335 computers, which is a tremendous amount of money if you think about how much computers cost. And they were received free from the county freeholder program. So that's a great aspect of how East Brunswick has taken an initiative in trying to find grants or programs that can sustain and improve the technology department in our district without also being overburdensome in a budget aspect, where we can balance that and find that healthy balance. And I think that's a testimony to the hard work of our teachers that put in that extra effort to get those instructional hours. And it's also a testimony to the people that do the budget, that try to create a balance, a healthy balance. We also use older computers that some districts may try to sell or throw away. We use them with new programs that don't need as much memory, don't need as much power, if you will, inside the computer, such as a smart board. When you talk about instruction, one of the great things about East Brunswick, and another thing that people were jealous of when I spoke to them at some of these workshops, was our Educational Technology Training Center, the ETTC Center for Middlesex County. As you know, it trains all surrounding districts, school districts that is, for technology purposes in program application. And our teachers, which is a great benefit, go for free. So they're able to go to this program for free of charge, receive all this training, get the hours, and they got a free computer. So that was a great program. So that's some of the things that are going on.
And also our district provides 2 professional days where teachers can, and any staff member can go, and different staff members give presentations on many of the programs that we're using in our classrooms. So it's a wonderful opportunity that our district provides for us.
And I think just to take on to that, Alison, probably Debbie, you can follow up on this. The great thing about the computers in East Brunswick, in the beginning when technology became in education, I really believe that people thought they would just put a computer in a classroom and they'd say, oh, kids are learning. Well, that's not really what it is. And East Brunswick has really taken initiative in trying to get across the truth. And that is that a computer is an instructional tool. It's a learning tool. It's not the answer. So we do a great deal of training kids on how to use it as a tool, how to engage it as a tool to learn. And I think Debbie does a lot of stuff in the Media Center with that.
Well, one of the things that I try to do is give them the jargon, the language and everything, and try to draw a correlation between tools and that the computer is a tool. I will tell them that they're using a desktop and refer to their classroom desktop. I will refer to the programs as tools and tell them, just as you do in your classroom when you're ready to start a project, make sure you have all your materials in front of you. So we try to show them that the icons are like that. But to go back to ETTC and the free computers, as a recipient, I was pleased to get one of those computers because it showed that we don't just get the training, we get the tools also to follow up. Many times you get training and it's a while before you get to use those skills and you lose those skills. I've been fortunate to turnkey some of the information that I learned at ETTC, and one of the places that I turnkey was at Sayreville. And when I was there and we were teaching them a program, they were like, well, isn't this great, but we're never going to get to use it. And they were kind of disappointed, to the full benefit that in East Brunswick, if we're trained, we're also provided the follow-up through tools and further instruction.
We mentioned several community support, and I think it's important to reiterate that. We do have some cooperative agreements, financial agreements with the township that has helped us to support our technology plan. Certainly the Education Foundation in town and teacher grants have brought a lot of technology in the classroom, our PTAs and their generosity and so forth. So there's a lot of resources that we have been fortunate to have. And I think for the teachers, one of the big resources that we may be overlooking, and I noticed this when I observed a kindergarten class, are the students themselves. How many of the students come in already knowing technology and are able to share with their peers on how to use the computer and are really way ahead of some of us sometimes in their use of computers. Let's talk about specifically how computers are used. What are the teachers? Now, we've had all this training, we've talked about all the support. Now let's talk about how is it used? Specifically, how are we using it to teach?
Well, one of the avenues that I've been fortunate to use is United Streaming. Their video clips provided on the internet, and they provide an enrichment to any of the classes that any of the subjects that I'm teaching. What's great about it is you can search through it and find the state standards, the correlations, and then bring it into whatever topic you're teaching. As a media specialist, a lot of times what I need to do is refer United Streaming to the other classroom teachers because they have specific subject matters, specific subject needs, whereas as a media specialist, most of my needs are literature-based. So that's one of the tools that I use.
And for United Streaming, I can use, as a teacher, I can use it to help initialize students' prior knowledge. A lot of the times we teach them things that they don't, they can't imagine in their mind. So we can use the different videos to, give them prior knowledge so that they can visualize it better. Another way that we use it is to also teach them different skills. There's wonderful videos on there that teaches them different skills, or they have books on there that so I don't always have to read to them. They can hear other people read to them as well. So that's something.
And just to kind of give Alison and Debbie kudos is that they were on the Discovery Channel actually using some of this technology. But Dr. Magistro, I just wanted to go back a second when and it was a very important issue that you brought up with regard to thanking the East Brunswick Ed Foundation and the PTAs. As an administrator in town, I can't tell you how much they have been supportive of so many programs. But as an example, for my school specifically with regard to technology, we wrote a grant for smart boards. And they gave us smart boards. We used some older computers, as I said earlier, with regard how we kind of manipulate some of the older machines for use. And the kids love the smart boards. What it really is an interactive blackboard. It's kind of like, I'd like to think of it like the blackboard of the future. When I went to school, you'd draw on a blackboard, it would just be chalk, it wouldn't do anything. But now they can go up there and draw on the smart board with different colors. They could save it. They could capture images. They could go on the internet. The whole class could see. Freeze frame pictures, circle things, do all kinds of manipulative actions, and the kids just love it.
And it's all done with just their finger.
It's all done with just their finger. They just touch the board, and it goes.
It meets a variety of different types of learners. Not everyone can write on a chalkboard, and so those students who have difficulty, it's a wonderful opportunity. They can just type on the smartboard and still, share their ideas and their work with their classmates.
But if they're not great at keyboarding either, what's great about the smartboard too is they can take one of the stylus, write on it, and with a simple tap, it will translate their handwriting into the print so that everyone can read it. So it's a wonderful tool. It provides, again, a partnership between student and teacher.
And and Debbie, the important partnership also is the school district and the community, and as was brought out earlier. And just to touch on the PTA piece for a second, the PTAs work so hard for our schools, and they really do support education to the fullest, and I thank them for that, and we all do. For an example, in my school, my PTA purchased what's called Quizdom, which I saw at a convention. I thought it was an excellent tool for kids to get into reviewing tests. And what it does is each child has a switch, kind of like a remote control at your house, and they could click the answers that are up on the smartboard or the TV, and it'll tell the teacher automatically, anonymously, so nobody knows who got it wrong. How many people got it right? How many got it wrong? So the teacher can use it as a tool for immediate assessment of instruction. So if 40% of the class is not understanding this, the teacher can know immediately that I need to just review this a little bit more. So it's a great learning tool. Plus it has some games like Jeopardy and things, and the kids just love that. And the great thing about it is that they're learning and having fun. They don't even know they're learning. They're just having a great time. And that's really what education is about, having fun in schools and learning. And so the community support has been tremendous with regard to supporting technology.
And I have to express my gratitude to the foundation and PTA. I was in Memorial School before I came to Chittick, and their generosity over at Memorial was tremendous. We wound up getting Mimios and scanners, digital cameras, DVD players, as also happened over at Chittick. So their generosity is across the board, and we are very grateful for all the support they give.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, you know, as we're sitting here talking, I just came to my mind about the laptops, the portable laptops, which when I was in school, I could probably never, you can never dream about something like this. They have a cart that is hooked up to the internet, laptop for each child. You could go to class, whoever wants to use it. I know my music teacher uses it a lot to do research on musicians, historical figures in music. 5th grade uses it, and the kids each get a laptop. They log on. They could do their own research, their study. I mean, it's really just an amazing program.
I teach language arts, so I use it for the writing process a lot, and there's wonderful programs. There's a program called Kidspiration and Inspiration, depending on the grade level, where they can set up webs and brainstorm, and then, you know, we use PowerPoint, we use Microsoft Word a lot to publish their writing. So there's so many programs, and we can do it right in our classroom or go to the computer lab, but you know, that's one way that I use it tremendously is during the writing process.
And I have to go back at the top of you talked about the evolution of technology and all. Well, when we first started, there was a huge demand for the computer labs. Everyone was trying to find their place and try to find out where it fit into education. But now there's such an explosion. Everybody wants to get into the computer labs. That time is limited, and the laptops help alleviate that problem. So now, if the lab is booked, with the help of the laptop computers rolling down the hallway, another class can be using the computers at the same time.
Another new thing, too, that our district provided us with was an opportunity for teachers to have their own websites, which is great because I know for myself teaching language arts, I can use it, you know, I can have safe websites linked up to my website that you can get to through the district's website. And students can use it during center time or during free time or to challenge themselves or at recess, and it's a connection for the parents. The parents can access my website at any time and find out different websites or different things that we're learning. You know, there are, I have students publish work on there just so that they can see that their work is, they should be proud of it and different people can read it. So it's a great opportunity for teachers and for parents to link that home communication.
Yeah, just one quick thing. You said safe, and I think that's really important. Important piece to bring up. And I remember earlier we had a gentleman from the FBI come in for the administrators and discuss safety on the internet. And I just think it's important for parents to know how to monitor computer use at home for their kids, because it is a big world out there. And we have to make sure that we protect our children. And I'm glad to say that the school district has implemented many software programs, and we also teach kids safety on the internet and how to really surf the web in a safe, educational way. I think that's really important for parents to realize and to remember when their children are home.
This is a good segue into, we will be having Mr. Nestor come in and develop a program in the evening for parents to come, in which he will talk about ways in which parents can ensure safety, and we'll be advertising that, you know, throughout our website and certainly on EBTV. So we encourage parents to come to that evening event where he can certainly share with them. One big important piece I think we all know, and we can reinforce at this time, is home computers should be in an area where parents can monitor. They should not be in a student's bedroom where they're kind of closed up. They should be out where parents can monitor. But certainly our evening program and with Mr. Nestor coming in and working with the parents in terms of safety is certainly important. What makes me so incredibly proud to be the superintendent of this school district is not only the community support that we get as a district and the people that work to help us be successful, is the staff that not only meet but exceed what the goals for the district are. And just hearing from you and listening to you, it certainly is evident that not only do the teachers embrace technology, but they're enthusiastic and pass that on to our students. One of the things that I think the community should also know is that there are state standards for technology in which we also follow, and they are to ensure that the literacy in technology is there for our students to be successful in the future in the technological world. And just let me take a minute to share with the community what those standards are. Using computer applications and technology tools, students will conduct research, solve problems, improve learning, achieve goals, and produce products and presentations in conjunction with standards in all content areas, including career education and consumer, family, and life skills. They will also develop, locate, summarize, organize, synthesize, and evaluate information for lifelong learning. These indicators are based on the Standards for Technological Literacy and support the National Academy of Engineering's call for students to gain technological literacy. Students will be expected to understand the various facets of technology and the design process. They will analyze and evaluate design options and then apply the design process to solve problems. A systems perspective is employed to emphasize the interconnectedness of all knowledge and the impact of technology and technological change. Students will be expected to use technology as it applies to physical systems, biological systems, and information and communication systems. The intent at the elementary and middle school levels is that all students develop technological literacy and are prepared for the option of further study in the field of technology education. At the elementary level, the foundation for technology education is found in the science standards. It is obvious through our discussions today that our students are learning technology, but that teachers are also using it as a tool to reach the multiple learning styles of our students, and I think that's very important. I want to thank Steve and Alison and Debbie for being here today. I think your presentation was outstanding, and I congratulate you, your school, and certainly all the staff in our district for a job well done. And I thank you for joining us on Spotlight in Education.